I am Ekaterina Smirnova, and this is part 2 of my tutorial painting Autumn Alley. On the first part I have created a transparent painting, and now I will introduce you to a new technique which will give an effect of a foggy day. This time I will use white gouache. I use Winsor & Newton brand. My brush is a 1-inch soft Hake. Let's begin. I've squeezed some of my paint on a butcher's tray and add some water and just simply dilute it. Let's make a test. At the beginning it will appear that it's so white, but when it's gonna dry out it will be very much faded away. So I'm simply starting to apply white gouache in the center of my painting where the alley goes far away, and that's going to be the foggiest part. And also I will apply some of my paint around the other trees. It is important to give enough water to dilute your paint. Don't use an absolutely opaque white. After each layer I will be allowing my paper to dry fully. Let's see. After a few minutes my first layer is dried and you can see it became more transparent. You still see the end of the alley, and I will continue to apply another layer, and then again we'll repeat. I will wait for some time. If you want to speed up the process, you could use a hair dryer. I will continue on with my third layer. This technique is called glazing, and sometimes for some of my paintings I might use up to 40 layers of glazing. Notice how I'm handling my brush. I'm trying to create different texture. Now I'm transferring my painting from the wall to the table. Sometimes it is better to work on a table because you want to keep all the colors, all the pigment on the paper. And very simply puddling and splashing, I will be applying another layer of white gouache. I will be also applying another color for the textures of the leaves, and you can see I'm using dark red mixed with orange, and simply again splashing around very loosely using your brush. And this is to create more texture around the leaves on the trees and intensify the ones that are closer up. And sometimes you miss a little bit, and this is not a problem at all because you can always fix your color by collecting extra with a napkin. I prefer using kitchen paper towels because they are very absorbent, and this is such a useful tool to have in your studio. Another way to fix a mistake is to rub a wet brush on the area and then again using kitchen paper towel absorb the excess. I am applying another layer of gouache, and look, I'm splashing around. I really don't mind any texture. As a matter of fact, I encourage all of the textures, splashes and drips on my painting. Another color to add is blue. My palette for this painting is very simple. I'm using cold colors like blue and warm colors like orange and yellow and red, and you need to study how to use both of them. Now I wait for it to fully dry, and I will apply one more layer, and this time I will create textures using the roughness of my paper, just like that, dragging my brush parallel to the paper. Dry again. And one more color to make an accent with is a very dark black color. Make sure you don't have too much water on the brush, otherwise you will create a solid line. I am also using a different brush here. It's a rough bristle made out of pig's hair. If you are afraid to do this directly on your painting, you should practice on a little paper. Let's see. The painting has changed dramatically. Now I'll make some highlights on the path. I will mist this area with a water spray to make it slightly wet. And using this hard bristle brush that I cut on the top to create a rough edge, I will start scrubbing off some of the highlights. And again, using the kitchen paper towel to absorb the excess. You can also wet your brush and just like that, rubbing off. Basically, I am removing the extra paint and I don't want to be there. I want to brighten up the painting with some yellow as well. And add some darker texture for the trees that are the closest to the viewer. You are always free to do anything with your artwork. And my job as a teacher is to encourage you to use different techniques, try different textures, and make your painting more interesting. I would like to give you an example of what I did with one of my paintings using the same techniques. This work is much larger, it is 80 inches long and 50 inches tall. There are drips, there are stains, there are splashes. I hope you enjoy this tutorial, create and be happy. Stay connected, subscribe for this channel, there are a lot of videos, and find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Pinterest. Visit my website ekaterina-smirnova.com.